Seniors, let's talk. Welcome back, 2020. What you missed, the last episode here, episode 6. We're coming to the end. Let's step back a little bit and think about high school. High school starts, of course, with maybe your link crew orientation. Right before your freshman year starts, you go through a whirlwind freshman year. Sophomore year, you got your feet wet, but maybe the stresses are hitting you. Junior year, of course, hits you like a Mack truck. The academics are intense, but you feel good as an upperclassman. And then boom. Senior year, the year that you are meant to live for. This is the American teen dream of being a senior, top of the world. Probably one of the life stages with maximum freedoms with minimal responsibilities, even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes. And as you progress through the senior year, you're going through all these activities, including the ones we've covered in this series that you never got to participate in. Things like Power Puff, prom, sports, senior nights, final concerts and senior beach day, graduation ceremony itself. And after all of that is said and done, after 4 years, trials and tribulations as a class, there's only one thing left. And that's, of course, the topic of today's episode, Grad Night. Being the absolute final thing that's there for high school makes this, of course, a very interesting event. I don't care what they possibly would have had there, but whatever would have been the last event would have been something that would naturally have gotten your mind focused on anyways. But the fact that it's a massive party, an all-night party for you and all of your classmates, that makes it, of course, all the better. So you go into grad night thinking, of course, that this is the last time functionally I'm a student, even though, of course, you've already graduated. And when you leave at 5:30 in the morning and stumble out to your car and go home to sleep for a whole day, you know that process of getting home, you've become a civilian. You become a civilian and you've left the K through 12 education system, which has guided most of your working hours for the last 13 years. So naturally, as the final parachute to the ground as you jumped out of the plane, grad night is a special night. Now, before we actually look at grad night, let's talk about the types of people you know in high school. Very generally, these are the types of people you know in high school. First, let's start with your good friends. Your good friends you genuinely have a lot of love for. These are people that are emotionally connected to you on your day-to-day level. These are people that have a humongous social influence on you. You talk to them frequently, they're part of all of the events you do. We would generally consider every additional person that's a good friend to be an addition to what you do on your daily basis. And finally, they're your bandages. When you have problems, you go to these people. These are the people that you feel comfortable sharing your tribulations with. These are all the people that make up your good friends. Then there's your friends. You genuinely have feelings for these people and some degree of love, and you socialize with them quite a bit, and they are additions, but not to the extent as your good friends, and generally they don't have that sort of healing aspect to them. Then there's your acquaintances. Your acquaintances are people that you definitely socialize with from time to time, but really lack the other type of major components. And then finally, there's your classmates. And these can be a lot of people that you like and generally get along with, but they really don't fit these types of bills when talking about their relationship with you. You can enjoy all of these types of people, but they're very different spectrums in terms of the long term on who you remain in contact with. So hold on to those types in your mind for a second. But let's think about this. At an event like Grad Night, usually classes attract more than 90 to 95% of their class to Grad Night, meaning this is an event in which all of those categories are represented. In fact, almost everybody in your graduating class will be attending Grad Night, which is certainly something to be said, because even for something like senior prom, which is so marquee, the numbers are considerably lower in terms of percent of your class. Now, my graduating class was approximately 375 people. I want to give you guys some sort of idea of what Grad Night functionally meant to me in terms of those 375 people and me. So let's diagram it, shall we?
See all these beans? Each one is a person. They're all a person, and boom. That one right there, that's me. You see, we're all part of the class of 2000 from Limerick High School, about 376 of us. Now, these individuals, those 12, those are people I've remained close with. People that I've remained loosely close with, about 6. People that I've seen occasionally since graduation, 23. People that I've seen once or twice in the last 20 years, about 36. And these folks, I haven't seen them since.
Not gonna lie, friends, this shocked me.
But wait, there is one more category we need to talk about. Our 2 friends that have passed on.
But remember, we're all part of the class of 2000. To be a singular event that was the last time I saw people means, of course, that I have a lot of memories associated with individuals and that event itself. So let's talk about what Grad Night is. Well, the Grad Night experience will differ from year to year, and of course from high school to high school, but largely a lot of the events are the same. So generally they open somewhere between 7, 8, and 9 p.m. and go all the way until 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 in the morning, depending on the year and depending on the school. This all-night party is truly awesome. Everybody's there and they got amenities to spare. General things that you see at Grad Nights include rock climbing towers, inflatable mazes, sumo suits, oversized twister, basketball competitions, sand volleyball, miniature golf, go-karts, improv troops, fake tattoos, caricature artists, hypnotists, magicians, casinos, scavenger hunts, dance halls, music video sets, and even crash rooms where you can sleep, and photo rooms to check out photos of all your friends when they were little bitty children. And that's just part of it. And let's not forget they have more food than a Las Vegas buffet. Even if you were by yourself, all these amenities and attractions and entertainment would be a lot of fun. But the fact that you're with people that just graduated in this absolute enthusiastic type of setting really means it's something where people really let loose. Especially for high school, this is a time where people kind of drop their guard and just have a lot of fun. What's also interesting is that the event is very long, and so sometimes you come into contact with and have very special moments with people that you may have never hung out with before, ever, and suddenly you're taking photos and having a great time. And the reason is simple. You're all celebrating together as a class. Now, it's not just from my own experiences. After I came back as a teacher at Lynbrook, I was asked several years to actually be a volunteer. And so one year I actually dealt cards at a casino doing poker.
I'll take a hit, dealer. Joker, you were supposed to take those out of the deck.
Oh, sorry.
Another year I parked cars. Another year I was an advisor for a class and I simply stopped in for a couple of high fives, some congratulations, before me and the other advisor bid adieu and left them to have a great time. And at least at Lynbrook, I can say with a great degree of certainty that the most special part of the evening is fittingly the last thing that's done. I don't know when it started. It may have been my class back in the year 2000 that started it, but one of the traditions that's been around now for a couple of decades is the bonfire. The bonfire is a beautiful, beautiful event.
Okay, guys, we got the s'mores and... Oh, wrong fire. Sorry.
I think it's only fitting that a bonfire be the last experience you have in high school. After all, you're on the Lynbrook campus, a place where you've had so many memories, both good and bad, and now everything is coming together with everyone focused on one thing, just the burning wood, as you talk about your class. Sometimes there's an MC for this event. It might be a teacher or community member, and students got up and they started talking. And as they talked, they let things go. And it was one of these few opportunities that I would call open for emotion. People were filled with gratitude after 4 years. And the people that talked, you might be surprised. Yeah, it was some of the people you'd always expect, but it was also people you wouldn't expect. And I think the best thing of all was that everyone was always warmly received. I don't want to come off seeming like I'm overly sentimental about this, because I really believe that this is one of those moments. You may be familiar with a John Mayer song called Say, and in that song, the lyrics I think are a great way of actually talking about what people discuss at the bonfire. People share things they probably normally wouldn't share. Now this doesn't mean that people may be coming out or profess love for someone at this time, but it was simply an opportunity to let their guard down and actually say things they wanted to say. Another consistent theme of these over the years has been the promise of tomorrow. The idea that we're all here together and we'll all stay in contact. And over the years, of course, it's been different things. Back in the year 2000, I specifically remember people saying that there was these new technologies that would keep us all connected and we all should join. Spoiler alert. None of these services and technologies are still with us. And then in more recent years, we've had things like just normal social media sites. We're all going to stay connected forever. Spoiler alert. You won't. Now, the fact that people say that is great. It means that the people around them are meaningful. Even today, with the mass configuration of social media that's out there, you know how algorithms work. And people that you may be connected with but don't speak to very often or don't speak at all are simply going to go away. So now let me go back to those categories of friends I talked about earlier. Remember the good friends? Well, the reality is that most of those good friends will remain your friends for some time. After all, those are people that you spend the most time with, have the most intimate connections with, and probably have invested the most human capital in. Now, for a lot of the people you would classify as friends, many of them will simply become acquaintances. You'll still be in touch, but not nearly as often. For many of your acquaintances, grad night may be the last time that you ever see them. It's nothing against these people. It's just that both sides of the equation have had to focus on other things. And finally, for the people that were just your classmates that you never really got to know, it's likely that you will never see them again either. Now, sometimes people surprise you. Occasionally, someone will pop up from a classmate or acquaintance standpoint and eventually become one of your closest friends. And then everybody that's graduated from high school has had a best friend that they no longer see. It may have been 5 years that it lasted, it may have been 10 years that it lasted, it may have been 2 months that it lasted. But the reality is you never know who you're going to be with tomorrow. The only thing you really do know is who your friends are now. This is why you should cherish every moment with your friends. Don't necessarily worry about the next day. Simply enjoy them for who they are in terms of the relationship at this point in time. Well, when I'm thinking back about the whole grad night experience, here's the bottom line. You're never going to be able to get grad night back. This is really one of the hard ones to recreate. So since grad night is so hard to replicate, I'm simply going to make some suggestions to you on things that can extend out your connection with people over the next year, 10 years, 30 years, and beyond. Suggestion number 1. Write some letters. The first letter you should write is to yourself. Don't open it for 10 years. This letter isn't talking about who you are. I think a lot of people have already done those types of things or those types of exercises in the past. This letter is simply about the people you appreciate and you're putting it in writing now. 10 years from now, you can open it and see what you appreciate about various people. The second letter is actually to friends or acquaintances that you have appreciation for. So in the letter, you're actually going to write what you feel about them now in some sort of positive tone. Go ahead and put those into a sealed envelope, and on a post-it note, put their current address. Come back to it in 5 years, and then mail it off. So it will be a past you complimenting who they were and perhaps who they are in the present. Second is what we call a friend box. And in this, sometime this summer where you can get together. With a group of friends, you're going to compile a box. And this box will have mementos from various things that you've done now or in the last couple of years. And it should also include the current music you listen to or the mixtapes that you have. You can put all this in there and then you're going to seal the box. The catch is that you cannot open the box until a date specified by you. Perhaps it's a year, 2 years, 10 years, or an event that doesn't have a date, like the first time someone actually has a child, first 30th birthday, first home purchase, or anything else you dictate. Everyone has to be there from the original group in order to open the box. Third, you should try to both plan and attend reunions whenever possible. One thing that's nice about a class reunion is it's forced togetherness. This idea that you are hanging out with people that you otherwise wouldn't, which is why reunions are actually so beneficial. It's not just connecting with the people that you already connect with, but it's reconnecting with the people that you wouldn't. Fourth is a tradition. You may or may not be familiar with the 5-year photo website, but you should check it out. What it is it's 5 friends. These 5 friends took a picture when they were young and they vowed to take the same picture in the same order with the exact same everything every 5 years. And the magical thing, of course, is that they actually have done it. In the aftermath of their story actually coming out, a lot of other friend groups have tried to recreate the same thing. Of course, they already have a decade or so advanced start, but there's no reason why sometime in the summer or beyond, before you go off to college or whatever you're doing next, get some friends together, take a picture, and vow to do the same thing. Or it can be anything like that. Something that is based on tradition that gives you an incentive to plan around and make sure that you continue to be close with various friends. Finally, number 5, I would simply say make it an appreciation summer. Take the opportunity before you go off to your next segment of life to show gratitude to those around you. Message them on social media, call them on the phone, text them, whatever. But don't miss opportunities to show gratitude to those regardless of what your relationship is. Acquaintance, friend, good friend, or maybe even almost unknown. When I think back to my own high school years, there's a lot of regrets that I have. Some of them are things I did, but most of them are about things I didn't do, and a lot of that revolves around things I didn't tell people that were expressions of gratitude. So learn from me, share the love. As we've already talked about, there's not going to be a bonfire for your class with 400 people around it. But as a token gesture, I'm going to go ahead and have a little fire in my backyard, and hopefully it can be a way that you can start thinking about all those people that have been so great to you over your high school career. So friends, we've talked about a lot in these videos. A lot of the things that you missed, but a lot of the things that you can do to push forward. Remember, I'm not a big fan of excuses. You always have to find a way through any set of challenges in order to get what you want. Moping and complaining won't get you anywhere. Sometimes it feels like the right response, but it never actually has progress. Find ways to take this loss and make them into wins in the future. I'm gonna go get to that fire. So for the last time, thanks for watching 2020, What You Missed. It's been MistaBale, serving as your host.